Hello and welcome back to this blind reading of Seino Yuta. My name's Aiden, and I just want to apologize for the last two videos as the in-game volume was way too loud. Well, it was sort of fine except for sometimes the music just got really loud and it kind of just overpowered my voice, so you couldn't really hear me speaking. So like the volume was already at 15% on the volume mixer, now it's at 5%. Hopefully that will be enough. If it's not, then I won't make the same mistake and record without checking. I'll make sure the video sounds fine beforehand. So yeah, sorry about that. Also, I've made a introduction video on my channel if you want to check it out. It's just, I know I made one, I talked about it in the first episode, but I think it's better just to have one on my channel, so it's over there, just a little bit about myself and the plans for this channel, and also the schedule, which is now solidified as Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah, so hopefully we'll... Anyways, it's all on the introduction video if you want to check it out. Let's just get right back into it. I believe last time we met Seiya, we had some fun with her. Now this is kind of from Yo's point of view. Well, it's third person, but still her point of view, I guess. Also, I was having trouble loading the game because it kept freezing, and I found out you had to like start a new game then load from there, so that's good to know. Anyways, let's continue on. Yo is determined to talk to him today. Nothing will happen as long as she continues to hesitate, and putting it off will only make her suffering last longer. It's time to show courage once again. Yo's fourth period on Thursdays is biology, and this is her one chance to see Fuminori. Because it's a required course with many students, the lecture is held in a large hall that can seat over 200, but since the room is usually only about half full, it's rarely difficult for Yo to find the seat she wants. Yo prefers to sit near the center where it's easiest to hear the professor. Most of the students congregate in this area for the same reason. Fuminori usually sits next to her, although it's not always possible when there's no seat available. Yo has resigned herself to this as representing the distance still between them, but they still always try to sit as close as possible. The classroom isn't crowded today, so Yo is able to set her bag on the seat next to her without bothering anyone. When the professor arrives at the usual time to start class, however, there's still no sign of Fuminori. After waiting for about 10 minutes, I don't know that word. I'm trying to doodle it. Sorry about that, but I enjoyed doodling new words. Furtively? It's actually pretty interesting how much words I haven't heard are in this translation. Furtively. In a way that attempts to avoid notice or attention. Secretively. Okay, the more you know. Yo furtively casts her glance around the room. He's there. Fuminori must have come in without her noticing, because he's sitting alone in the far back corner of the room. Did he miss Yo when he came in? No, that's impossible. In the first place, no serious student willingly sit in such an inconvenient place. Feeling miserable, Yo slides her bag back over to herself. Fuminori is out the door the moment the class ends, and Yo barely manages to catch up to him before he disappears down the hallway. At the sound of his name, Fuminori stiffens as though he was just bellowed at. He turns to her and says, though he seems reluctant to do so. Now that they're face to face, Yo is painfully aware of how much weight Fuminori has lost. His sunken eyes and protruding cheekbones are a far cry from the features familiar to her. She wonders whether he's under a lot of stress or maybe not getting enough nutrition. Maybe it's both. He looks more tense than he should be, like he's irritated or even frightened of something. His eyes move relentlessly from point to point, and he refuses to look Yo in the eye. Just looking at him makes Yo's chest ache with sadness. What could have changed him so? Today, she reminds herself, relighting the flame of courage in her heart.
お話があるんです。ちょっといいですか?
The courtyard is empty and silent. No one willing to sit on a bench and chat in the cold November air.
話って何?
Don't you remember? Yo almost blurts out, but she manages to keep herself from being so blunt.
咲坂さん、最近ちょっと様子が変です。見てて心配になります。
そうかもね。まあ、あんな目にあった後だから。
He smiles like it's nothing, but even that seems stiff and forced. He's even standing precisely one pace farther away than he used to while talking to her.
本当にそれだけなんですか?
君にはそれだけじゃないように見えるのかい?
Yo manages to keep from flinching at the hardness in his voice.
何か我慢してるみたいに。
Rather than answering, Sakisaka grinds his toe into the dead grass at his feet, fearing that her determination might flag. Yo lets the words come as they may. Sorry, my dog's barking, so I gotta check on that. 1 second. Of course, more issues just keep piling on themselves. Stresses me out. Anyways, let's just continue on.
どうしようもないものを無理して壊れそうになるほど頑張って我慢してるみたいに。今の咲坂さんはそう見えます。
She's very good at reading people.
そうかい。
Fuminori mutters through clenched teeth, no longer trying to deny it or change the topic. This brush-off is an even clearer signal of rejection than his earlier evasiveness. But Yo's determination is strong. Today at least she won't back down.
友達ってこんな時のためにいると思うんです。ご家族のことは
And it switches to his point of view.
でも、咲坂さんは一人ぼっちじゃありません。友君や大見ちゃんや、それに。
This is such a messed up disease or whatever, brain problems. Just feel bad for him and for everyone else, honestly.
私がいます。
It makes this really touching scene just creepy. Yo can no longer stop the words from pouring out. She fears that if she does not release all the myriad emotions pent up inside her. That is a train. I live next to a train. Sorry about that. They will be lost forever.
一人で背負い込んだりしなくても、私たちで何とかできることだってあると思うんです。たとえ何もできないにしても、話してさえくれれば、あなたが少しでも楽になるかもしれない。私、咲坂さんの力になりたいんです。他のみんなも同じ気持ちだと。
Not gonna lie, it still kind of sounds cute, even with that weird voice.
やめてくれ。
Fuminori shouts, silencing Yo's entreaty. She had promised herself that she wouldn't back down, but Fuminori's expression was terrible enough to shatter her resolve. The look in his eyes is not anger. Okay, that music sounds kind of loud, but hopefully it's not. The look in his eyes is not anger or anything or any other warm-blooded emotion. It's hate, murderously cold hate.
そういえば君には一つ返事しなきゃいけない要件があったね。
Don't do it! That sucks. I just feel bad for her now. But it's still understandable for him. He remembers, yet still he has treated her with such coldness. That alone is more than enough of an answer for Yo. If his words tear her heart to shreds any further, she won't be able to bear it.
僕は君のことをとりわけ特別に意識したことなんてなかった。君に好意を持たれてもどう接すればいいのか迷ってた。僕が君のことどう思ってるのか正直な気持ちが自分でもわからなかったから。
咲坂さん。
でもね、今ではもうはっきりと答えが出てる。あれから考える時間だけはたっぷりとあったからね。筑波さん、僕はあんたのことが大嫌いだ。顔も見たくない。
Okay. I mean, he's probably saying that just so he doesn't interact with her anymore because of his condition, but that's painful, man. I mustn't cry, Yo tells herself, but too late to stop the tears pouring from her eyes.
もう二度と会いたくないっていうのは無理だね。同じ学校に通ってるんだし。だからせめて今後は僕に声をかけないでくれないか。目障りなんだよ、つくづく。
Yo inadvertently whispers, to which Fuminori twists his lip into a horribly cruel smile. Is this trying to be like one of those stories where you don't really like the protagonist? I mean, I still don't hate him, but it's slowly going that way.
君さ、少しは頭を冷やした方が良かったんだよ。どうせ大宮浩二にけしかけられてその気になってただけなんだろ。
It's with a smile, bro.
自分一人でのぼせてる分には勝手だけどさ、他人を巻き込むなって言うんだ。
That's all Yo can take. Even after shedding tears in front of him, she absolutely refuses to let him hear her cry. Any disgrace would be preferable to breaking down here. So she runs, fleeing breathlessly from the courtyard, with Fuminori smiling coldly at her back. Damn, dude. Not fun. Umi was the first to catch sight of Yo and Fuminori leaving for the courtyard. Reluctant to interrupt them, but still unwilling to leave them alone, Koji and Umi ended up watching the whole thing from the shadows. Throughout the exchange, Umi was clearly itching to jump out and punch Fuminori in the face. Knowing her temper, Koji kept firm of her sleeve until the end. If if he hadn't, she might very well have done it. Honestly, like, if I was in her shoes and, didn't know about his condition and all, I think he deserves a good punch in the face. Fuminori leaves after Yo, his every step seeming to take an act of willpower. Koji sighs heavily into the once more empty courtyard, but the bitter taste in his throat won't go away.
どうしちまったんだかな、あいつは。
Even for Koji, Fuminori's treatment of Yo is unforgivable. However, the first thing that he feels is confusion. Koji and Fuminori are old friends, having known each other since before college. As far as Koji knows, Fuminori has never been so cruel before. There's no question that the accident changed him.
ねえコージ、このまま放っておくつもり？
放っておきたくないにしたって俺たちに何ができる？
覗き見よりマシなことよ。
Umi shouts, or Omi, clearly infuriated.
私、咲坂君に一言言ってやらなきゃ気が済まないわ。
それで筑波の気が晴れるってもんでもないだろうに。
Probably not.
だったら私のキーだけでも晴らすわよ。
Yo and Omi are best friends, just like Koji and Fuminori. It was the relationship between Koji and Omi that brought Fuminori and Yo together. Just as it is natural for Omi to be worried about her friend, it is also natural for her to be angry with Fuminori.
私、咲坂君と二人だけで話してみたいわ。コージはついてこなくてもいいから。
本気かよ。
その代わり、ヨウのことを見ていてあげて。あの子、多分心底傷ついてるから。
I mean, you should probably switch that around. I think Koji should probably talk to Fuminori, but
泣き終わった後で
whatever.
誰かの優しさが必要になると思う。
なあ、それって俺とお前の役回りが逆じゃないのか？
Exactly.
私みたいな性格だとね、慰め役は無理。励ますつもりで余計に傷跡広げちゃうのがオチなのよ。
I don't know, for some reason this is giving me bad vibes. I hope nothing bad happens.
なるほど、納得いった。
あ、嫌な言い方。
じゃあまあ、そっちはほどほどにしとけよな。
Ending the conversation before Umi's mood gets any worse, Koji heads off to find Yo. There we go. I feel awful, miserable, but also refreshed. What the? I think this is the best one yet. Absolutely horrific. Jesus, look at that pole. Poles look great. And then you just have to give credit to this guy's artistic ability to draw something like this. I finally crossed the line. I knew it would come crashing down like this sooner or later, having become unable to feel anything but disgust for other people. There was no way I could hope to maintain the relationships I'd had before the accident. Today's incident will definitely get back to Koji and Umi, and everyone will be convinced that Sakisaka Fuminori has had a major change of character. Honestly, I don't care anymore. At least I probably won't be institutionalized for this. I just have to avoid acting any stranger than I already have. If this puts a rift between me and the others, good. Just thinking about the stress I'll avoid makes me feel like a weight has been lifted off from my shoulders. I'm fed up with them sticking their noses into my life. It's like they don't care that they make my gut turn just by being near me. So yeah, I was right that he was doing it just to get away from them. But of course he's kind of like saying that they don't care. that there are monsters near him, but how are they supposed to know if you won't tell them, dude? I've been terrified of them until now, but today I struck fear into one of them. On one hand, thinking about this is a relief, but I'm not entirely without remorse for what happened. The person I just chased off with a verbal equivalent of a nuclear bomb. Dude, that's such a great metaphor. What the heck? Used to be my friend Yo. Even if my senses don't believe it, my mind accepts the theory. I didn't have any particular grudge against Yo herself. I didn't want to hurt her. In retrospect, perhaps I should have just outright refused to talk to her. Yo, she was an attractive woman, and I certainly didn't think badly of her. To be honest though, I was annoyed when Koji and Umi tried to stick us together for the fun of it. It felt like I was being toyed with, and Yo seemed totally oblivious to the fact she was dancing to their tune. Her cluelessness was irritating. We don't actually know how far back that was, so can't really comment on that. That seems a little... That said, I knew that none of them meant any harm. Back then I didn't have any reason to hurt others, just to get my way. If having a casual relationship with Yo would keep our circle of friends together, I was willing to make that compromise. Now, however, there's no room in my heart for tolerance necessary to just go with the flow. If merely talking to someone is an unbearable ordeal, how can I be expected to show kindness? Again, this is just weird to me because in the last episode he was talking perfectly fine to the doctor. It didn't show any disgust or anything. Maybe he was just acting that way because the act of talking to the doctor was a way for him to help Saya since he's completely obsessed with her right now. Maybe that's the reason? I don't know. These ruminations have left me exhausted. I want to return to Saya as soon as possible. Rumination. What are these word choices? I guess this was... Well, I don't know when this was translated, but... This game was made in like 2003. These words are so odd. But thinking about the packed trains and crowded downtown streets between here and home saps my will. Catching sight of a nearby bench, I sit down and close my eyes to the horrors of the world. I can't do anything about the stink or the noise, but at least I can manage to calm my nerves enough to rest. In comes Umi. Probably. Maybe? Flashback. When I regained consciousness in the T University hospital ward, the world was dark as it is now. I hadn't regained my sight, even though my eyes and optical nerves were fine. It must have been an after effect of the accident. Blindness was a shock, but now I know that my suffering then was nothing. After all, my senses of hearing, touch, taste, and smell were all fine at the time. The real tragedy began when my sight returned. Holy shit. It kind of reminds me of like Silent Hill 2, except more fleshy. Like it was already a little bit fleshy, but I turned the fleshy up by another 50%. The one small mercy was that I was able to come to terms with the terrible accident and my neurosurgery while still blind. I panicked when I first saw this nightmarish hospital and the blood-curdling shapes of the doctors and nurses, but I soon guessed the cause. It chills me to think of what might have happened if I had recovered my sight along with my consciousness. Suddenly awakening in what can only be described as hell, I would have no doubt to have lost my mind instantly. Soon my disorder spread to the senses of touch, taste, and smell. So that's interesting. It starts with sight, but Just when he actually felt the stuff, it felt normal. Then it slowly started to feel like flesh. And the taste of my food, the feel of my bedsheets, and the fragrance of my get well flowers all became as unbearably foul as my eyes said they should be. Eventually, when the voices of the doctors became unrecognizable as humans, I decided to kill myself. I didn't believe for a second that I could come to terms with this new world. Honestly, that's kind of like a reaction I think a normal person would do. And I know most people would say they wouldn't, but like, such an extreme situation is just, it's like, like after that thought, you want to dislike him, but you still have to try to understand like where he's coming from, and I'm trying to, and it's obviously very difficult. Anyways, let's continue on. At least not until I met Saya. Here we go. Back some more. So she was from the T University Hospital, I think. If he's still in it. One night when I was trying to think of a painless way to die, I found myself succumbing to sleep. Drifting between the nightmares in my dreams and the nightmare of reality. I didn't notice her in my room. I mean, she's kind of creepy too. I honestly don't really like her hair. They kind of look like cat ears, which makes, I guess, kind of makes it look more mischievous. And it goes with the green eyes, because, you know, black cats with green eyes. Suddenly, there was a face staring curiously down at me from next to my bed. The face was not covered in pus, slime, or earthworm. Earthworm-like feelers. It had smooth white cheeks, round eyes, a lovely little nose, and all the things I had never expected to see again. The face was that of a girl, undeniably human and positively glowing with beauty. I sighed in admiration, savoring the first peace and joy since regaining my sight. Apparently, she had not expected such a reaction.
怖くないの？私のこと。
So this definitely supports my theory that she's a monster to normal people, but she just looks good to him. It's like vice versa. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure, anyways. Looked at the clock. Looking at the clock, I saw that it was exactly 3 in the morning. You know, the spooky hour. Not a time for a young girl to be wandering around a hospital. Even someone with no imagination would likely have thought her a ghost. I, however, wouldn't have cared if she had been a ghost. Either way, she was a godsend.
君は誰だい？なぜここに？
私はサヤ。パパのこと探しに来たの。
I assumed that she was the daughter of one of the night shift nurses or other patients. It was unusual, but not unthinkable for such a child to be wandering around. Rather, it was the hospital security's fault for not locking the doors properly.
あなた、怖がらないんじゃつまらない。
あ、ちょっと。
I kinda like it. Like how straightforward this game has been. Like, it outright tells you what happened at the accident. Kind of pretty much outright tells you why he's having this because of the weird brain surgery. And to me, it's outright telling me that this girl's definitely does not look like that and is probably a monster similar to what the background we're seeing. It's not like they usually try to like cloud these things, but the fact that they're saying it right to your face, it's kind of cool in a way. I like it. Anyways. Wait, I cried, desperate to keep her from leaving. It was only after she turned around that I realized I hadn't thought of what to do next.
何？
Her eyes drew me into their depths, feeling my soul to its core. Through the white haze clouding my mind, I struggled to form a coherent sentence.
女の子にお願いしていいことじゃないんだが、今君にしか頼めない。
No longer concerned with propriety, I let the words pouring out of my mouth.
手を握らせてもらえないだろうか。
Saya first looked confused, but then smiled like she just found a new toy. Her smile was like the sun.
変な人。そんなこと言い出したのあなたが初めて。
She said, holding out her slender white hand. Ever so carefully, as though catching snowflakes in my hand, I placed my palm against hers. I could clearly feel her human warmth, the softness of her delicate fingers. She was there, just beyond the palm of my hand. Thinking back to the joyful tears I shed, I know that was the moment I was saved from my fate.
この半月の間に初めて人に触れた。人だと感じられる体に。
は？
他の人じゃダメなんだ。僕事故に遭って、その後遺症らしいんだけど、人が人の姿に見えないんだよ。
本当に不思議な人。あなたって面白い。
She said,
明日の夜もまた来ていい？
winding her fingers gently around mine.
ああ、そりゃもういいのかい。君はそんなことをして。
大丈夫よ。夜は私のものだから。
And so our nightly rendezvous began. Saya came to my room every night at 3 a.m., skillfully taking advantage of the duty nurse's shift change. I was astonished to learn that she was living in hiding inside the hospital.
これだけ広いと隠れる場所には事欠かないから。
She said, answering my surprise with a nonchalant smile. She told me that she had been living in the suburbs with her father, a doctor teaching at the hospital, but had found herself all alone one day when he stopped coming home. After tiring of waiting for her father at home, Saya had decided one night to sneak into the hospital, where she'd lived for over 2 months while searching for his whereabouts.
学校には行かなくていいのかい？
いいの。勉強は全部パパに教えてもらったから。さやはとっても頭がいいんだよ。
Also, I didn't know if she was actually a child or if she was just a short woman, but I guess this confirms that at least he sees her as a child. Which, you know, makes it a little weird, but whatever. She was a strange girl. While she looked taught like an innocent child, she also had the ability to hide from adults and feed herself. Perhaps her lack of common sense was due to her youth, but the sharp intelligence and deep knowledge she periodically exhibited were not those of a child. But such minor things were no concern to me. To me, Saya was the only other human in a world gone mad. Her existence meant far more to me than the standards of society.
危なくないのか？見つかりそうになったことは。
全然平気。ここにいれば食べるものにも不自由しないし、パパのうちに一人ぼっちでいるよりもずっと楽しいよ。
I don't have to worry about finding food. I wonder what that means. I can probably take that in 2 different ways.
入院してる患者さんたちのうち、ちょっと精神的に参ってそうな人を事前にチェックしといてね。
Saya continued, grinning mischievously.
時々部屋に真夜中に忍び込んで脅かしたりするの。その人が大騒ぎしても、そういう患者さんの言うことはみんな真に受けたりしないから。
I'd love to hear what one of the other mental patients describes her
結
as.
局は悪い夢ってことで片付けられちゃうし。
Her confession reminded me that the hospital was famous for its ghost stories. Who could have imagined that there was actually a real girl impishly roaming these hallways?
じゃあ僕も最初はそのつもりで。
うん、ごめんね。怒った？
While her pranks were hardly
もうやらない方がいい。
praiseworthy,
その代わり夜は僕の話し相手になってくれないか。
while her pranks were hardly praiseworthy, I couldn't bring myself to scold her for the very thing that had brought us together.
さやもその方が楽しい。
Oh. Oh wow. Yeah, dude, that's... I wonder what it would be if you... Because there's, like, door options. If you turned it down, would it just be, like, a bunch of fuzziness? Yeah, we can't turn that down. This is... I guess this is one way of art. With extreme care, I was able to conceal my sensory disorder. It was glaringly obvious that the doctors had no way to cure me. The fact that I had just undergone a new treatment, clearly still in the trial and error stage, made me even more cautious. How much interest would the doctor show in a patient exhibiting such an unusual side effect? As a medical student, it was easy for me to imagine the clinical coldness of the researchers. For the sake of my dignity, I was not about to become a pitiful guinea pig. I guess I didn't think about that. They'd probably do some weird experiments on him. And so I hid my everyday discomfort and loathing behind a mask of normalcy, convincing the doctors that any signs of stress were merely a result of hospitalization. Saya was my support. Looking forward to her night visits was the only thing that gave me the strength to overcome my daily torture. Having hope can make an enormous difference in a patient's progress. With the aid of my secret nurse, I recovered at a pace that left the doctor stunned. On the last night before my release, I summoned my courage to ask her.
君はこれからもずっとこの病院に居続けるのかい？
うん。結局パパの手がかりはなかったけど、もう他にいるところもないし。
In other words, she had no reason to stay either. I decided to take the plunge, timidly asking.
よかったら僕の家に来ないか？
え？
家族はもういないから部屋はいくらでも余ってる。人目を忍ぶような必要もないし、住み心地もそんなに悪くないんじゃないかと。
ずっと文則と一緒に暮らすの？
I didn't have the courage to ask her what she thought of that, so I hastily offered a deal.
君の父さんのことは代わりに僕が探してあげる。約束するよ。必ず居場所を見つけてみせる。
Train alert.
難しいと思うよ、それ。
Saya said, looking a little embarrassed.
多分パパ、何か悪いことをしてこの病院を辞めたんだと思う。だから警察とかは困るの。なるべくこっそりと探さなきゃいけないし。
頑張るよ。どんなことだってやる。僕は。
Unable to control myself, I finally spoke the truth.
さやと離れたくないんだ。
At first she looked bewildered, but after considering it, she said,
少しだけ考えさせて。
That said, she left my room earlier than usual. On the day of my release, I managed to smile as I accepted the hideous, foul-smelling, celebratory bouquet. The flesh beasts calling themselves Koji, Yo, and Omi came to pick me up. They had come to see me any number of times during my stay, but it never got easier to see my old friends change so horribly. My sudden tears of despair drew suspicion, but I managed to explain them away as tears of joy. As you walked through to Koji's car. Through the halls, lobby, and parking lot, I desperately averted my eyes from the grotesque world and looked for Saya, but she was nowhere to be seen. I stared through the car window at the hospital, fading in the distance, praying for a last glimmer of hope. But Saya never appeared. After Koji and the others dropped me off in the front of the house I'd grown up in, I took another look at my surroundings. I never moved, having lived my entire life in this one house, but there had been no other place for me to call home. But now everything had mercilessly changed. As I walked from the gate to the front door, I looked over the garden and trees, and many memories of childhood here. But I could feel them being defiled by the twisted, festering shapes before me. There's nothing familiar left in this house, nothing to evoke fond memories. What I had once called home was a whole other world. I whispered with a smile of self-pity. Ascending to the second floor, I found my room utterly unrecognizable, and sitting on the bed, curled up like an abandoned cat, was Saya. As I stood there in shock, she looked timidly at me in a tiny, weak voice said, I responded by sweeping her into my arms, embracing her tightly so that she wouldn't escape. Saya did not resist. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. Looks like Omi's gonna go into Sakisaka's house while he's not there and see Saya, so that should be very interesting. So yeah. I mean, my thoughts are, like I said, I think Saya's monster, clearly. They're obviously saying that, you know, even though I was kind of mad at, Fumiyori, or when he was, talking to Yo. Again, it's hard to understand what he's going through, but if you kind of make an effort and think about it, you can't really hate him too much. But thank you for watching. This was a fun recording session, very interesting, and I hope you come back. Bye!